Hello, everybody. The Lord just smacked me over the head, so now I gotta smack y'all over the head. You see, I said my heels won't be bitten, but I didn't say the Lord don't smack me over the head sometimes. So I said to myself, I was watching Captain Tazaria in a short talk to those angry peoples. It was a short. And so I commented being me, I'm like, yeah, I know everything and I'm the smartest. And I started commenting blah 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 blah. And then the Lord was like, okay, bet. When I say the Lord, especially Americans, y'all probably. So I said unto myself, uh, I was like, the idols and blah blah blah. No, that's not what I said. In the comment, I said, the dude asked him, "Do you believe Christ is king?" And Captain Cesaria said, "Yes, he's king over everybody." And so I said to myself, "No, that don't sound right." He can't be king over everybody because he said himself. I told you I look at this like book report logic. I don't like liars. I'm not calling anybody a liar at the moment. I'm telling y'all something. So, in the book, he said, if they don't accept what you're saying, pack your bags and keep it moving. And further edification to that would be that I just had it right here. Oh yeah, so this it was also written that in the book of Jehohanan. I'm sorry, we're speaking English. In the book of John, I wonder who Jehohanan ben Hagios even is. It's a weird name. So I wonder, in the book of John it says follow not the Son, follow the Father. It says follow the Father. So, and then I kept reading and it says, I can do nothing without the Father. The Father is what tells me what to do. That can be detrimental, which is why I like Jesus as a character person. But then, you know what I said? My brain smacked me over the head. Watch this. Being intelligent is painful. So I said to myself, okay. I said, then that's an idol. And I said, what do we do to all idols and blah, 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 blah. And woo, 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 woo. Remember in the Old Testament, we used to crack them with the iron rods and slay them. And oh, the Lord God said, destroy idols. But then I said, okay, so destroy the idol. And then Who I Am said, what? And then I Am That Which Is said, Juan Bruce at somewhere up here said, okay, destroy the idol. You talk all the time about wood and paper and stone and blah, blah, blah. Now he's not here no more. It's in a book. Destroy it. Destroy the idol. His crucifixion should be warranted. The Romans did right? Destroy the idol. And so I kept saying it until I admitted it. I was like, okay. I was like, the fuck? How's it not if an idol's telling somebody to love and then this guy showed up. Dun, 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 dun. What about the force? What about the balance? Will you worship him because he's saying something you like? And that's when I realized, as I gained consciousness, like a video game, I gained levels. I was like, fuck. Who am I to tell people not to worship idols? What if a man is worshiping an idol? Y'all gonna sound Messiah now, man. I just flipped on y'all, G. Because I'm trying to tell y'all how my mind works. I cannot do one thing without doing another. I don't know why I'm like this. You can call me a calculator. You can call me an algorithm computer, blah, 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 blah. But Moses is truly Lucifer. And as much as I like any word in that book, if I can't take those words out that book and ignore everything else, like the monkey in the cave on Aladdin the cartoon from the Disney movie channel network, then I am not ready. Y'all see me on this camera and y'all probably think, and to yourselves, y'all probably think amongst yourselves, look at this anti-Christian, devil, demon, Luciferian, word-hating. He's finna go to hell. But I can assure you, I go to hell every time I do these things. I was raised Christian just like y'all. I know what y'all feel inside because I feel these things. And I know they hurt. I know y'all was promised a free country and a free land and blah, 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 and we should all love each other. And then you woke up and this race is fighting that race. This blah, blah, blah is fighting that blah, blah, blah. The Muslims and Jews are fighting. The Christians are killing blacks and colonizing shit. What do you watching right now have to do with any of that? And yeah, you get lumped into all that, right? Do you know what's crazy? I abhor racism. And yet now for some reason I love the Hebrew Israelites. They have a phrase, the enemy of your enemy is your ally. You guys will hear me say that and think to yourselves, bigot, racist, cool, that's what you're supposed to think. Right now, I am doing something that is outside of my character. But I need y'all to understand, if you're going to elevate your consciousness and say that and go, oh, I can understand he's bigot, I ask unto you mercy and understand why. Why would somebody who loves something battle something? What does that truly mean? Y'all still think I'm talking about y'all. That which I truly love is myself. I don't have to lie to y'all. We all do it. Because no matter, somebody at my old job, the kitchen boss, told me something very smart. Not the original kitchen boss. She said, everything you do, no matter how sacrificial it is a reflection of you and is vain. I said to myself, holy shit. I started to calculate. So then she threw a curveball. Even if you sacrifice for your kids, it's because you couldn't live without your kids. She said the universe is. And that which it is, it is. And I was like, blew my mind, right? What if that very metaphor comes and mocks me later? Am I gonna sit in a room and not say anything? So what will I say? I have been called Lucifer. I'm going to explain something to you. You live a everyday life. This is you. You're the passenger walking on that little screen when it says walk and don't walk. You're living your everyday life. You experience life from an egocentric nature. What does that mean? The world around everyone is an illusion. What is actually out here, I will never... How do I explain this? Because this is too high level consciousness for current being. But I'm going to say it anyway. Nothing that you see right now is. But is a reflection of what perceives. So it is. That sounds crazy. The reason why I don't become too holy, scripturally powerful in money, the reason why I don't is because of who I am. Okay. He's virtue signaling, I'm holy, blah, blah, blah. Okay, hold on. Wait. Hold on, Neo. Give me a second before you go into all 10,000 of your screens of emotions. The architect would like to ask you something. If I turned on this camera and didn't say anything for an hour and just stared at the camera, what would I be to you? I'm going to do it for a moment. Watch this. Now, just reset. Follow me. I'm just going to do this. If I just did that on a screen, what would you think? I want to know the most mean things you would think. No, I want you to know because I'm talking. Does that make sense? I want you to know some of the meanest things you would think. Perhaps you don't think mean things and you lust after me and you're like, oh yeah, that's a hottie mix sexy fuck. You know what I mean? I don't know. But what I'm saying is, a lot of times we're so quick to think about stuff that is irrelevant than to actually be what I am enjoying. Okay, so what does that mean? When I think of people saying like, oh, they're racist or oh, they're bigoted or blah blah blah. The problem with that is that they may be. But the problem with accusing people before you have evidence makes them not only look innocent, but it makes you look like the aggressor. So when I open my dresser, if the serpent comes out and strikes me, then I can complain. But if the serpent isn't striking me and then I go, hey, the serpent's striking me, I'm the little boy who cried wolf. Now y'all will hear that and be like, what? Serpent to wolf. Currently, mankind is in two-dimensional thought. The problem with who I am, where I landed in space-time, is that I am trying to create six-dimensional thought. I'm trying to create awareness, spatial awareness, while having psychological awareness and intellect, and then still even further deeper, having spirituality where I can decipher and use my awareness to know what is efficient. Because everything I just said is confusing, but do you know why? Because everything is subjective. Everybody's feelings, emotions. Recently somebody asked me, do I think the word of God creates love and peace or envy and strife? That question is irrelevant. What that person should have asked me was, am I going to eat today? I'm not mocking you, brother. What I'm saying is, one time you also asked me, what can we do to remove all the lies? And then I said, you'd have to be a fascist, easy, remove all the people. And then it'd be you, your truth, your idea. You. Do you see the log? Because I'm talking about you, but I almost barely didn't make it through work today. Because that shit sucked. I'm not saying that because my job is bad or my company is bad. I'm saying that because this is a projection or a reflection of me having to deal with certain things in my profession. And I can't talk to therapists because, as you all see if you've been following me, when I go to therapists, it ends up in involuntaries and trying to send me to Chicago and Joliet. And so, will you all be my therapists? You know, I'm going to make a statement. This is going to probably make A lot of Caucasians not watch me. But I've already talked about the Hebrew Israelites, so a lot of African Americans aren't watching me. So if you're one of the few that watch me, congratulations, you've won a question. Can you imagine for a second, think of psychology. I'm going to give you a metaphor, or I'm going to give you words. And imagine you're a man or a woman. For women, I don't even have to go into scenarios because I know how I've heard of what y'all go through. And so I'm sorry. Ouch. I will take the pain for those son bitches. I punch myself because I'm gonna start crying. Because I hear women sometimes be like, oh, I hang out with men. That's a mind fuck to me. They were like, men are cooler, men are blah, blah. But then I remember, think of your man thoughts. Oh, if it's a woman around, I'll be super nice to her, super cool, man. That friend, I'm gonna be in friend zone. She's not gonna know. But one day, if I'm friendly enough, I'm gonna clap the cheeks. But I'm not telling you how all men think. I'm sorry. I'm crying because of reflection of what women have went through and what they go through. It's the knowledge that I possess. So to the men who don't very much, because there's men who also, I weep for you too. The men who have been dealt with that. But for all the rest of the men, see, this will have create labels. Men and women have gone through it. So, but based on my perception, a lot of men are unaware, which is why a lot of women and other men go through these things. So, I don't mean to virtue signal. Imagine a world where maybe you went to prison before, and when you went to prison, you're a tiny white dude, and all the big black guys clapped your butt cheeks all the time. And you was getting ran. You're like, you went in there because of a hate crime too. You already hated the monkey niggas, and then you went in there and they was clap your cheeks and beat you up while they was clap your cheeks. And then sometimes they was sore, so they just used broomsticks because they was angry at your news story. And then years later, for some reason, you got out early. Now imagine a world where every first responder you ran into was a black man. Every doctor you talked to was a black man. Every priest you ran into was a black man. Now for the women. I know how, man, I'm glad y'all got women-only spaces. That's the only true way to protect women at certain times. I watched a video about the Amish, and they had it to where women picked the women up. Super awesome, man. I'm not going to virtue signal. I'm not going to go, I'm not like that. We're men. Women need safe spaces. There's an episode of Rick and Morty where the women got rid of the dudes and made them go in the desert. And they went to Infinite Smart Land, and they were the awesomest. Women. I'm sorry. The reason why it blows my mind when women say, I only hang out with dudes because I feel the opposite. I only like being around females sometimes. Maybe that's why I'm a CNA. That's not sexual. The fire you just felt wasn't sexual. Men, I have male friends that I grew up with. Man. I'm not going to disdain their characters. We were friends. We was kangs. I bet a bunch of you, there are going to be a lot of people who like me saying we was kangs. See, after a while, I don't take racism seriously, man. Because I'm going to give you guys a philosophy. Because I was talking about something at some point. If you do go through something, I don't know what each of us are going to be affected by. This is just metaphor. When you get yourself worked up, you have a chance of hurting your physical, biological body. And you release certain chemicals and signals are surging. You ever seen a plug spark or something? You have electricity in your body. You just don't realize it. Maybe. Or maybe you do. What I'm telling y'all is, it's not efficient to be angry all the time. That's why I say forgive. That's why you guys see me cry a lot. Because my rage is angry. And you see it all the time, but most times you guys see me cry, especially when I drink. I can't sing too much without crying. That's why you see me do screamo songs and stuff. There's a lot of reasons why that is. But back to the original point. Imagine a world where everybody you had to deal with was the person that was raping you over and over and over and over and over. And then those very people that you had to deal with continually laughed at you and mocked you and had, maybe you got some of them that go, you got some of them that go, oh, that's so sad, that's so that's so sad, I'm sorry. But then the rest of them just mock you. You bitch, you wore this, you wore that, you called them chimps, you deserve that, you deserved your butthole to get pierced. You know what I'm saying? Imagine a world like that. You go online and look for other women Americans. We put the faction of what you are and an American after it, unless you're European. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that. See, it comes out sometimes. I don't have I go to therapists and they're going to be Asian or Caucasian. If I say I don't want that, then what's going to happen? Then I meet a black therapist. That doesn't happen. So then, well, that's in Chicago, and those ain't no different. You ever seen Django Unchained? You know who Stephen the Slave is? Shout out Samuel Jackson. He didn't do nothing until his 50s and 60s. And when he got off drugs, and when he did, they wanted him to scream and be an angry black man, and he did. And he got rich. But you know what's crazy? I'm an angry black man. Brown. I'm sorry. I'm working on that. So, man, you know, the moral of the story is, if you can understand why I just gave you all that metaphor about that atrocious thing that could happen to people, and then being in a world where this is why I like women, this is why I hang out with women. And you guys might say to yourselves, there's gonna be people that probably say, he's a gay. But you know what I don't say no more? I don't say the whole you're not born gay and you choices and stuff, because learning what I have about biological processes and dopamine and all that stuff, people are born like that. They might not have the mindset as a child in their innocence. Do you think about clapping your wife at 3 years old? Fucking assholes. But what I'm saying is, they don't have a choice. You don't have a choice. And I'm gonna explain, this is why I'm not gay. And I'm gonna be real with y'all. My girl, years ago, when she came into the job we worked at, I'm not gonna say their name because I don't need you. And I pity people that don't know law. You guys see these influencers infiltrating places and doing all these crazy things. It's sweet at first. They wait for you to make some money, and then your ass gets sued. Candace Owens been sued. Maybe she do talk about it. I could get sued for thumbnails. But the only problem is I haven't made money off of it, so the courts will throw it out. I have not made a single dime on not a 700 in. Anyways, the point is, there have been people that have helped me. I'm not gonna name the one person because but what I'm saying is, that one person knows that the next video I'll go to try to find them, but I don't have to because they're kind and loving and sweet. That's why I don't have sponsors. A lot of people don't like me, man. But the people closest to me love me because I'm a free spirit. There's a movie, I wouldn't call it propaganda, but there's a movie years ago called Wild Hearts Can't Be Broken or Tamed, and this girl was running up a ramp and jumping off on a horse in the swimming pools. Yo, these But the reason why I brought that up is because that's kind of like my spirit, so to speak. But at the same time, I still have to follow certain rules, like getting on the horse, running up the ramp. Now, why did I just like it? Moses said, don't liken yourself, because it was white women doing that, right? Because obviously it's a metaphor of something that, I got off the topic. When I met my girl at the job we was at, she walked under the caution tape. Because, you know, when you mop floors, you got to put up wet floor signs and shit. And, man, she walked through that motherfucking caution tape. And she had on these spandex and this shirt. And I keep telling her, I thought she didn't have a bra on, but she swears she did. Man, she walked on that caution tape. She was boom, boom, boom. And I think I was like 27 at the time. 26, 27. Baby mama did all the bullshit. I was distraught. I was just Man, she walked on that caution tape, boom, boom. She always tell me, I think I'm fat, or I think I'm blah, blah, blah. I think the the problem with, like I said earlier, everything's subjective. The problem with certain labels is that that's only that only works. Sorry, at the moment, for the person using the label at the moment. You notice in the 60s and 50s, they had these tiny supermodel women, right? Look like Barbie dolls. Now, on everybody's reels, these women are like 100, 180, 250, 300 pounds. And these dudes are losing it. Why is that? So some programming can be broken instantly. But the reason why I brought that up is that I don't know, man. I made this video to make it. It's been 25 minutes. Holy shit. So yeah, man, I need to get to sleep soon and wake up and make the noodles for my spaghetti and meatballs. Yeah, I know y'all probably thought this was gonna be like some type of going into a scripture. I abhor that book because it goes against a lot of stuff I believe in, man. But you guys like it, so I try to help. You know what I mean? But what am I doing? What does that even mean? Maybe I'm just a confrontational person that wants to fight the nicest faction of humanity, the Christians. They're just so pure and innocent. And it's like, look at this center black skin, blackie, Hamite, Canaanite, ex-slave of an American Negro. He just wants to hurt our peace and love. I need to get the fuck out of there.